Hello, this is Wild Phil Jarrett coming at you from the unhappiest state in the U.S. of A. West by God, Virginia. I'm a little bit unhappy myself tonight. I was out on the internet searching for something totally different, and I came across the obituary of a great woman who saved my life at one time. This woman was Eleanor Sullivan. But because it was the internet, it was her. She died in 1991. This is the first I've heard about it. I'll try to explain why she meant so much to me. I just got kicked out of my home, my family, my life, everything back in Ashland, Virginia, a small town north of Richmond. I was staying in a motel. One of those kinds where, no, it wasn't no-tell, you know, what is it, hotel no-tell? This is hotel no-tell the police. Okay, you get where I'm coming from on this place. Had a bar on one end, and then you had the rooms kind of coming out in this little horseshoe around the back there and on one side. And right across from the bar, I had my room there, and it was a little motel room. And I had a microwave, and I had a little microwave, and I had I had the refrigerator. The reason I can't remember all this quite correctly, I'm stammering around trying to search for memories, is I was going through about a case of beer a day, and I would go over and close that little bar down, and then go back to my motel room and drink the the beer I had in my little refrigerator. I was having a hard time. I was so far down. I left the forwarding address on Skid Row so I could keep getting my mail. I ended up, just incredibly depressed. And Eleanor Sullivan saved my life. I sent her a short story of mine. She published this short story. It's called The Bet, and by that time, back in that day, I was using this sobriquet Flip Jarrett because I thought it was so much like Jimmy Olsen or Flip Jarrett, private, not Flip Jarrett, boy reporter. This is before Flip Jarrett. Flip Jarrett, private eye. Blue Jean, that's his name. But we won't get into Blue Jean right now. He's a little bit of an acquired taste. So I'm living in this place. It was, I was complaining to my friend there, and I told him that I can't go to sleep. That people are having sex in the next room, and they can't. I keep me up all night. He asked me, "Did they keep you up all night because you can't hear them good enough?" And I thought, well, maybe that's what they're doing. So I went to a yard sale, and the Fisher Price doctor set that has the little kaleidoscope, or the little thing that they run it on it. Not a kaleidoscope, a stethoscope. The doctors always wear it around their neck, you stick it in your ears. Well, they had a little toy one, not in Fisher Price, and you stuck it in your ears, and this thing came out, and you had this little ball of plastic on the end. Now, I would sit there, and I'd put that up on the wall of my hotel room into the next hotel when they were having sex. I was thinking about actually investing in a doctor's stethoscope to do this with, but that's how down I was, drunk, slovenly, yeah. And Eleanor Sullivan published a short story of mine called "The Bet" in Ellery Queen's Mystery magazine. She not only published this short story of mine, but she published it in the 50th anniversary of Ellery Queen's Mystery magazine. Now, I didn't get my name on the front cover, but if you look closely, you will see that this has, it's got Isaac Asimov and John le Carre. I'm proud of that. But then you got Phyllis Diller thrown in there. Now, Phyllis Diller kind of bred everything back in this perspective for me. I got my story in a magazine with John Le Carre and Isaac Asimov and Phyllis Diller. Okay, there you go. It's a 50th anniversary edition. This is a big deal back in the day because Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine was still a thriving magazine that actually paid money. Oh, nickel word. They did have a contract that specified that any action figures that resulted from characters created in my short story, they got a piece of that action. Piece of an action. Whatever. Piece of an action figure, so it's a piece of an action figure. Oh, God, I digress. And here, I want to tell you about Eleanor, though. Little Mrs. Sullivan. I didn't know her well enough to call her Eleanor, and now that she's dead, I've not got any chance of knowing any better than I did before. Here's what Eleanor Sullivan said about my short story, The Bet, when she published it in the 50th anniversary issue of Ellery Queen's Mystery Magazine. She said, and I quote, "Discussing educating Rita with Michael Caine at one of her famous film weekends at Tarrytown, New York, Judith Chris said, 'One's first reaction to the story is that it's a reworking of Pygmalion, yet it isn't. Your first reaction to The Bet may be that it's a reworking of Hemingway's The Killers, yet it isn't. It is an uncompromising story with an integrity of its own.'" The Bet by Philip Jarrett. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is a city built on beer. The town rides on a head of foam far more substantial than the short moon-driven rays on the rocky beach of the lake. The smell of yeast is thick in the air from spring to fall and only abates with the first snow. The winters are cold and bitter. The people cluster in neighborhood bars and drink the beer the city is built on to keep warm. The neon signs display the names of the beers with Teutonic pride. The red and blue lights glow on the pale, fleshy faces of the locals as they watch football on a flickering TV set and throw darts at a corkboard on the wall. The stranger sits in a corner booth near the dartboard. He is middle-aged, with a black beard and blue eyes. He drinks beer and smokes cigarettes and crushes the butts in a glass ashtray. He doesn't look at the people around him. He is intent on his drinking and smoking. Nobody in the bar pays him any attention. He is a loner, a stranger to the neighborhood, and the neighborhood's only bar. A drunken throw sends a red and white flighted dart into the dark paneling beside the loner's head. A local comes and stands swaying before his table. "My dart," he slurs. The owner looks up at the man. He looks at the dart, stuck deep in the wood. He looks back at the plump, flushed face of the local. "You missed." His voice is soft and fluid. "Sorry, I could have put your eye out. Maybe you should sit somewhere else." "I like it here. You should throw more carefully." He pulls the dart from the wood, eyes never leaving the local's face, and hands it to him flights first. "You throw?" The local takes the dart, finding the feeling of unease the loner's blue eyes creates. "Yes." "Care for a game?" "Perhaps, if the stakes are right." "We play penny a point," the local adds apologetically. "It ain't much, but it's beer money." "I play for information." How's that?" "I win, you answer my question. You win, I answer yours." "That's crazy. What do you know I care about?" "That's a question. Win a game and ask." "You're crazy." The local weaves back to his buddies at the bar. There's a lull in the raucous chatter as he tells the others of the loner's game. One at a time, they sneak a look at the man in the corner booth. When they find his blue eyes meeting theirs, they look quickly back to their beers. Finally, the youngest at the bar, a boy hardly old enough to drink with men, separates himself from the others. With their encouraging voices pushing him, he approaches the loner's table. "I'll play you," he says without preamble. The loner looks at the local boy. He is pimply faced, with only the slightest hint of a blond beard showing between the scars. The loner says nothing in reply. He stands, takes off his jacket, and hangs it from a hook on the corner booth. He puts a hand in the pocket and brings out a small black leather case. He walks to the bar, the locals parting like sheep. He sets the case on the bar and opens it. He takes 3 darts from the case and slides black flights on the ends. The local boy throws first. He leans far over the mark, and his long, gangly arm blurs back and forth. He throws well. The loner stands, one toe on the mark, his body lean and balanced. His hand flicks, and the darts hit with solid thumps. He throws better. The game is over. The loner wins. Now you will answer my question. "Sure, mister, whatever you say," the local boy says, sullen in defeat. "Do you know Kramer?" "Old man Kramer? Geez, man, everybody knows him. He comes in here 9:15 every night, drinks 2 brews, then goes back to his grubby flat and doesn't show his face till the next night. Why do you want to know?" That's a question. Win a game and ask. The local tries and loses again. "I guess I owe you another answer," he says. "You do." "Well, ask. Where does Kramer live?" "About 2 blocks from here in Old Lady Simpson's place. He's got a 1 bedroom on the 1st floor. Christ, why?" That's a question. I know. Win a game and ask. You are one crazy man, you know that. The loner smiles. The smile is not a pleasant one. That, too, is a question. "So, you want to play again? Maybe this time for a beer or something. These questions are giving me the heaves." "Yes, this time we paid for a service." "Well, wait a minute, pal. I don't do any weird stuff." "I'm sure you don't," the loner says, like he isn't sure at all. "No weird stuff. You have my word." The local boy looks hard at the loner. There's something in his blue eyes that assures him this man's word is better than a signed and notarized contract. "Yeah, okay. But what sort of service can you do for me?" "I can be a very helpful man to have in your debt." The loner says the word helpful with a shade of emphasis. The local boy thinks of a certain stud from the suburbs who is making moves on his girl. He is certain this man could help the guy into a hospital if he wins. "Okay, I'll play you one more time." He loses. "Christ, man, who taught you to throw darts? William Tell?" "A service," the loner reminds him. Yeah, the local boy is getting in way over his head, but instinctively knows welching on the bet would be suicidal. "Go tell Kramer I'm here." "That's it? That's all?" "That's all." "But who will I say you are? I mean, what am I supposed to say? Some guy in the bar said he was here?" "He'll know." The local boy looks at the others in the bar. They are watching him, sensing the tension like animals sense a storm coming. "Okay," the local boy says. "I'll do it." He gets his down-filled jacket from the rack by the door and steps out into the Wisconsin winter. 2 blocks in summer is just 2 blocks, with the temperature below 0 and fat, wet snowflakes falling 2 blocks stretch into a frozen, thankless mouths. The boy puts his head down and follows the icy path by the high mountain of snow-plowed snow on the curb and the dark storefronts. He walks fast, chancing a fall to keep his warm blood circulating in his legs beneath thin jeans. He curses himself with every step. Why did he make such a stupid bet? Why did he feel he was losing more than a 2-block trudge through a frigid night? Old Lady Simpson's house is at the end of the second block. She died before he was born, and some lawyer owns the house now. He walks around the side path to the back and into a hallway only slightly warmer than outside. To the left is the back door of the 3-bedroom apartment facing the street and the stairs leading to the second floor. Kramer's door is to the right. He knocks loudly, knowing the old man is nearly deaf. The door opens slowly, held by a chain. A blast of warm air seduces the local boy's face. A white head and bespectacled face floats in the opening like a nearsighted cloud. Yes, the maid's dreary voice inquires. It's me, Kramer. The local boy means no disrespect. He doesn't know the man's first name. Oh, dim eyes focus through thick lenses. The walk's already been shoveled. The door starts to close. The local boy holds it with his hand. I don't do walks anymore. I got a job at the brewery now. Christ, can I come in? I'm freezing my butt off out here. The door closes another inch and the chain rattles. The local boy moves through the opening, and as Kramer bolts and chains the door, he strips off his coat. If he kept it on, he'd be sweat-soaked in a minute, then frozen even worse when he left. He's in a cramped kitchen with a small table and 2 chairs. In the room beyond, he sees an unmade bed and a dresser covered with medicine bottles. Sit down, Kramer says. He has a sing-song tonality to his voice. The local boy hangs his coat on the back of a chair and sits. Kramer places his hands flat on the table and lowers himself gently into the other chairs. He studies the younger man's face. I know you. He seems proud of the accomplishment of recognition. You're from the Mar. I was getting ready to go there for my nightcap. The local boy has never heard anyone refer to 2 bottles of dark beer as a nightcap and thinks it's funny. But the chill of the night and the nagging tension of his mission keeps him from laughing. There's a man at the bar, he says, wanting to be done with it and gone. He said to tell you he was there. A man? Yeah, maybe 45, 50, about my height, black hair and a beard. He's got blue eyes, and he shoots a mean game of darts. The old man lowers his head and is silent. Kramer, did you hear me? Yes. Okay, well, that's that, but he doesn't give up to leave. After a minute, he asks the question he would have asked if he had won a game from the loner. What's this all about? Kramer raises his head. The kitchen light falls across his face, leaving deep shadows behind his glasses instead of eyes. When he speaks, the words come darker than the shadows. 20 years ago, I was ready to retire. The company I'd worked for all my life went bankrupt, and I had no pension. You're too young to know what living on nothing but Social Security is like. A man came into the bar where I was drinking. It was the middle of the afternoon and we were alone. He was carrying a black bag. He said he'd play me a game of darts. The bet was a ride to Canada against the contents of the bag. The bag was full of money. I played him and I lost. I drove him north for hours. I had to stop and fill the car with gas. When he went to the restroom, I drove away. I called the police and told them where they'd find him. The reward money from the bank was enough to keep me out of a home. Kramer once more put his hands on the table and lifts himself to his feet. He walks slowly and takes a heavy gray overcoat off a hook on the front door. Where are you going? The local boy asked him. It's time for my nightcap. But he's out there. I told him. It was the bet we made when he beat me at darts. When you lost, you paid your debt. Yes. A bet's a bet, son. You paid yours. Now let me pay mine.